Welcome to today's Explainer. We're stepping far back in time to unravel a story that honestly feels way more like a haunting thriller than a standard history lesson. We are plunging into the year 1587. Picture a deep, uncharted wilderness, a treacherous ocean crossing, and a mystery so absolutely profound that it has literally kept investigators awake for centuries. We're talking about the Lost Colony of Roanoke.
More than 100 settlers, 0 survivors. Just let that sink in for a second. When you really sit with that reality, it sends a total shiver down your spine. Imagine an entire community, men, women, and children, completely vanishing into thin air. We aren't talking about a struggling colony just slowly packing up to head home. No way. We're talking about an absolute, eerie erasure of human life without a single explanation left in their wake.
So, let's start at the beginning. Part 1, 1587, The New World.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture over 100 human beings all crammed into these creaking wooden ships, braving a stormy ocean just to reach the shores of Roanoke Island. Now, what made this expedition really unique and frankly deeply tragic is that unlike previous strictly military outposts, this group included women and children. They were risking absolutely everything they had to build a permanent new life completely cut off from the world they knew.
Which brings us to Part 2, The Disappearance.
Let's move along and see how this builds, because the contrast between their initial hope and what actually happened is just chilling. In 1587, Governor John White departs for England to grab some much-needed supplies, but a massive war with Spain breaks out and actually traps him in Europe from 1588 to 1589. The settlers are left completely alone. It's not until 1590, 3 full years later, that Governor White finally makes it back, totally expecting to walk right into a thriving colony. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer shock of what he actually found, or rather, what he didn't find. He walked into a horrifying reality, a completely deserted settlement. We're talking wooden homes just standing empty, with overgrown pathways weaving right through the silent forest. But you know what the most terrifying part is? No bodies, no signs of battle whatsoever, no survivors. Just the wind blowing through the trees of an abandoned village. Every single colonist had simply vanished.
Now we enter the active crime scene investigation. Part 3, The Only Clue. So in the middle of this overgrown, deserted settlement where over 100 people should have been, investigators found practically nothing. No letters, no journals left behind. Just one single piece of evidence waiting in that dark forest. CROATOAN. Found carved deeply into a single wooden post. It's massive, it's haunting, and it was the absolute last trace of an entire colony.
So what did CROATOAN actually mean? I mean, was it a destination? Like a desperate message for Governor White about where they had relocated? Was it a terrifying warning about who or what was coming for them? Or maybe simply a final cryptic message from a doomed people? That single carving is the hinge upon which this entire historical mystery swings.
Let's dig into the investigation phase. Part 4, Historical Theories.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the fundamental tension historians are left with, since the physical evidence literally ends at that one carved word. It basically boils down to assimilation versus destruction. Did the colonists peacefully blend into the surrounding Native American landscape, or were they violently and tragically wiped off the map?
The prevailing theories derived from historical investigations really do run the gamut. Some suggest assimilation into local tribes, proposing the settlers sought refuge and successfully integrated. Others argue they were decimated by a rapid, unrecorded disease. Then there's the theory that they were destroyed by severe storms and sudden famine in an unforgiving new environment. And of course, there is always the lingering possibility that something far darker happened out there in that isolated wilderness.
Fast forward to the modern day. Part 5, The Legend Lives On.
So the crucial point here is the sheer weight of time. More than 4 centuries have passed. Think about that. 400 years of technological advancement, archaeological digs, and exhaustive historical analysis. And yet, despite all of that, the Lost Colony of Roanoke remains America's greatest unsolved mystery. We still have a vanished community, and we still have only a single word.
Did the truth just disappear with them? When you imagine standing on that fog-covered shoreline, looking out at the abandoned forest, you really have to wonder if the answers were simply swallowed by the ocean, or maybe buried deep beneath the roots of those ancient trees.
The legacy of over 100 souls has been reduced to a whisper in the wind, a mystery still unsolved.
It leaves you wondering, if an entire colony can be swallowed whole by history, leaving absolutely nothing behind but a single carved word, what else might be waiting to disappear right out from under us?